Just because it's like, why?
Yeah. I hate you saying that. Well, we'll see what's in the first chest.
Well, never mind.
Well, that's definitely one way to do it. Just makes sense. Sure does. I still can't believe that.
Well, I mean, you got to get the hammer at some point, and it's pretty imperative that you do. So, I mean, the odds that the hammer ends up in Link's house aren't exactly tiny.
It's a good thing we got the hammer now, because we only got 10 bombs from Uncle, which is, it's not good in Escape, I guess, but it is good after Escape. You already have bombs for places. Oh, and a potion.
It's basically one of the, or if not the most challenging way to get through Escape. But luckily, the hammer is going to make that sort of a trivial exercise.
Yeah. Again, with all the things you can do once you get out of Escape, bombs are pretty tricky to go through Escape with, but if you can get out of there with some bombs, you're going to have a good amount of chests coming to you once you're out of there.
Yep, and since we got 10 bombs right at the start, that's going to make things, we're not wasting those bombs. Why would we waste those bombs?
Yeah. We're getting some money. Another one of the popular early game locations in Kakariko, there's a vendor where you can buy an item for... I'm a bit rusty on my knowledge, but I believe it's 100.
Yeah, 100 rupees for the bottle vendor. Usually it's a bottle in the game, but of course, randomizer.
This is not a game.
Got a randomizer.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a medallion.
All right, Quake medallion acquired today.
That's good.
Otherwise, some people like to call it the Quack medallion.
I mean, we do have a duck.
We do have a duck.
Yeah, Quake's good. We don't know if Quake's going to be required in this seed, but if it is required, it's good. I think that's the best way to look at it. I mean, hey, having a good item never hurt anyone.
All right, so all 4 runners making their way out of Escape fairly close together. It's a pretty academic exercise getting through Escape, though there is some movement tech you can use to speed yourself up. You'll see a lot of people, if you watch people running left or up, sometimes they'll run along a wall and gain some extra pixels by doing what's called wall pumping. Get some extra movement that way.
At that point, it's just style.
I mean, it is sort of the difference between like a 6:30 and a 6-minute Escape in NMG, so a lot of people go for it.
I guess. I mean, going fast is stylish. To some people.
All right, so we have the first of our runners to reach the bookcase. A couple of them, actually. As we head into the dark, there's 1 chest back here, plus 3 in the hidden alcove in the back.
We do have bombs for. Remember, Uncle. So, that's a good thing to not have on your mind, is knowing I don't need to go back here. Because that can definitely be an issue if you don't get bombs from Escape.
All right, so we get the small key out of the chest down here. That was guaranteed to happen because you got to have it somehow or else you're just not going to make it through.
Everyone getting their bombs out to get ready. And oh! That's a fun item to see.
So the book, this early on, the book, of course, gives you access to the tablets, especially since we have the hammer. And, of course, Desert Palace comes into play.
Yeah, so if we find a lift upgrade, Desert might be a pretty good early game play.
Yeah, they will also want to get a fire source if they want to go ahead and eat it.
Right. Forgot about fire source to complete.
And then there's that one thing where you kind of need a
you need the Pegasus boots to get the torch
occasionally. And GFE is the one of the 4 runners to count the chests in Escape and not pick up the map.
Congratulations. So there have been some map checks. I don't know if I've seen a pendant. I did not pick up anything because does go by very quickly.
I think I saw a crystal over on Eastern. I think Hera might have been a pendant, and I did not get a good look at Desert.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope somebody caught that. Triplet of bombs. A lot of early bombs right now. There was another triple of bombs in the chest in the back part.
Yep. Now we just have a big 20 here on the lumberjack tree, so no indications that we would need to go to Aghanim just yet.
Yeah. We could still need to go there for Dark World access, but we don't need to go there for the lumberjack, which is another one of those things similar to the back of Escape I mentioned, which is good to not have on your mind. That's one thing I think is important. In just kind of, I want to say general randomizers, because this is not one of my most played randomizers, I'll admit to that now, but it's really good to have a lot of, there can be some locations that are really bad, and it can be good to have some places that you know you just don't have to worry about. And so definitely something like Lumberjack, where you'll have to go all the way up a giant tower to get that item. It's good, it's not big. And we saw Chexium check out. Oh, there's the hook shot. Oh, things are picking up really quickly.
So Ack the Boker is doing an interesting play here, going to the South Shore first.
Shroom is on pedestal.
What? Okay. This just got interesting.
This is interesting. Yeah, that's a good word.
Hey, we got a glove. Blind's Hut today with a glove.
Chat loves this.
All right, so we need to find a Moon Pearl, and then we can get that Dark World access.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a fire rod?
Fire rod. That's a light source. With the exception of Torch, we can possibly get a lot of Desert done.
Yeah, Desert could potentially be finished at this very moment.
Yeah.
Now, one upside you can have to heading to South Shore first is potentially finding bottles or flute or something that will make your Kakariko trip a little better. A lot of people have started going for that to sort of make the Kakariko trip more comprehensive. Though, you know, it doesn't seem to be paying off too well today.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the hook shot, which is nice, but not really necessary for the Kakariko trip.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, it's pretty good item. For quite a few reasons. And just as a recap, if anyone came in a little bit late, in Swordless, to kind of counteract the fact that, hey, swords are usually pretty important in this game. Oh, there are our boots.
Oh boy, Ice Rod Cave boots. That's going to be a little bit annoying for people who prefer to leave those out of the way locations till later.
Yeah. But, yeah. As thank you for the help in chat, there a lot of functionality of the sword in swordless mode was given to the hammer, so that you can still do some things.
Yeah, and like the curtains don't exist anymore. So like the Skullwoods curtain, the Agate Tower curtain, they don't exist. And that was taken away rather than given to the sword because it doesn't make sense for the hammer to slash curtains. What's going on with that?
Yeah. Also, speaking of things that were taken out, for checks human, apparently physics is on that list.
Yep. I mean, you can do the walk on water thing.
Yeah. And alright, not gonna check Zora because not enough money, and Ledge is just a bomb upgrade. I didn't see what that was.
Alright, so that's 20 rupees there in the chicken hut. That 20 rupees there was actually a sword.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a green 20, not a red 20.
There's a bit of mixed thoughts from chat on what was in that library, but it was definitely something blue.
Alright, well, we can probably check it out once our other runners head there. Chex might go pick it up.
Chex might pick it up. Chex is about to pick up their power glove, actually. Which is great. Okay. We're getting more confirmation.
It is possible to do hammer silverless. It is a literal actual nightmare.
Yes. I believe I saw someone try it once, and
I mean, Pink Kitty Rose will do it because she's insane.
Yeah, that was who I was thinking of. Yeah, GFE heading to the desert area. Not a bad play. You have a fire source, you have a hammer, or you have a book, you have gloves. You can do everything if the torch is not a required item. Best case scenario for GFE here, the torch is probably like compass. And allows them to not have to worry about that. I don't know why compass would be best case and map wouldn't, but don't worry.
All right, so Solsky, GFE, both now heading over toward Desert Palace.
Yep. And because we just can't have logic, Axe going through this cave right here to get to Death Mountain without a lamp.
I mean, if you've got the hook shot, it's like, hello, there's 7 items on the right side. I want that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not a bad break of the logic, but it's just great. Oh!
What?
That's really good. Also, way out of sequence right now.
We'll know that we'll either need we need the lamp. It has to have the lamp for that one.
Yeah.
I was going to say either the lamp or flute, but no, it's lamp and exactly lamp.
Yeah, for that one. So yeah, we know dirt about the logic behind that one, but it was definitely something that pays off.
Wow, there's the Cane of Samaria in the big chest of desert.
That's good.
That also means that there is a small key on the torch, which means the game expects you to have the boots to beat desert.
So, if Chex Human is the only one right now, that could finish, because none of the others went to Ice Rod Cave, which is a totally understandable move.
All right, so Act the Boker has made his way into Paradox Cave. 7 whole items over here.
Yep.
We can also head up to Tower of Hera after we're done, and my goodness, we can also head into the Dark World and check Super Bunny Cave if we want to.
Yep. GFE is...
Oh! Bow! Moon Pearl! Bombs! That's fine.
Whoa.
Okay, Bow and Moon Pearl's good enough. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. TFE getting the hook shot. So, Paradox Cave is a better hype cave than Hype Cave. I'll give you that in check.
It is often more hype than Hype Cave.
I mean, you have, like, what, almost double the opportunity for an item?
Something like that. It's like 40% more opportunity.
Okay, wait. Oh, there's the 5th guy in Hype. I forgot.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, and like you said, we're gonna see Hera now.
So it looks like Solsky went ahead and stole the key from the back of Desert to get the other item in Desert. So we know that Desert doesn't have the lamp we're looking for. Hera apparently has the Bombos medallion.
Yep. GFE grabbing their boots. Wonder if they're going to want to go back into Desert or not. It does look like it's a pendant, so who knows if that's something that GFE wants to do. But it could be something that happens. And yeah, Samaria was Desert big chest.
All right. So we're getting a look at the tile room here. I'm assuming we wouldn't be here already if it wasn't the big key.
It is the big key, yeah, because we had Bombos and the small key. Oh.
All right, GFE now heading over to Hobo Town. It's not much of a town, it's just one person.
He has 5 rubies.
And Chex will be checking the Ether Tablet, which
Not
we
a bad
probably
move.
saw Act do. Nope, it's a lamp.
Oh.
So that means that the flute
Was
is
required
not
to
behind
get
the
up
Titan's
Death
Myth.
Mountain.
Yeah. And so we know that the Titan's Myths and the Moon Pearl and whatever else was in Paradox Cave, my brain, bow. The bow, none of those can lead to the flute.
Alright. So that means flute is probably, I don't know.
So at this point, I think we're down to Eastern Palace, Zora. Yeah, that's about it.
That sounds like, yeah. Maybe Hammer? No,
Not gonna be
that's
Mushroom.
Not gonna be Mushroom, no.
Because Mushroom's on the pedestal, and we do not have all Light World Pendant dungeons.
Oh, I don't think we've checked Somebody has to have checked Bonk Rocks by now, I think, but I don't remember.
Somebody did check Bonk Rocks. I didn't see what it was, but I did see someone coming out of Bonk Rocks.
Someone says it was green rupee. All right, cool. Speaking of green rupees, that one's green, but it's worth 50.
And there we go, Act the Boker picking up the first crystal today.
Yep.
It turns out it's a 5/6 as well. So when I said it might have been a pendant, I was completely wrong.
Well, there was a Light World pendant dungeon, so you get bonus points.
All right, so it looks like Act the Boker is going to head to Spiral Cave.
Has boots. No. Actually was the only one here to not go pick up boots. My bad, so this is fun.
Yeah, so yeah, Act the Boker is going to be sort of out in the lead as far as checks go for a while, but checks here is going to catch up and get, and thanks to those boots, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but I heard an analogy a while ago about how doing Spiral Cave without boots is kind of like studying, and how it's very long draining and sometimes usually not worth it.
But you basically have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So Act the Boker now going to make use of those Titan's Mitts and check East Dark Death Mountain. Get our map check. We've got Palace of Darkness as the green pendant, Thieves Town as the red one, and the other 5/6 is over in Ice Palace.
Yep. So, that's a whole lot of stuff. And there is not only the crystal from Chex Human, but the Paradox Cave loot from Solski. Probably really excited to see that.
Now, you know what's kind of interesting?
What's kind of interesting?
So GFE and Solski, they are both here with the Cane of Samaria, the Fire Rod, the Hammer, and the Titan's Mitts, and the Moon Pearl, and they're about to have the lamp. They could go clear a good portion of Turtle Rock.
If the medallion matches.
Correct, if the medallion matches. We don't know.
Which, if they go to Hera, they'll get a second.
Yeah. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
And it is a crystal. Do you think that's a play we'd see this early of a...
I mean, maybe. If the Ice Rod is in there, great. You know?
Yeah, that's the problem. The Ice Rod is just an item that can be in so many places because of just how it's used.
Speaking of medallion, I think we're going to go ahead and get to see what that is from Act the Boker. That is Quake.
Quake?
So we do have a matching medallion.
Everybody has that. It was... I don't even remember where it was. It was all the way back in...
I believe it was in the back of Escape on the right side.
Oh, yeah, it was. And yeah, that's another thing. We don't have a mirror, so we couldn't have checked Mimic if we went there. But it would still be quite a decent portion.
All right, so Act the Boker now going to take... he's skipping Hype Cave for now.
Alright. And Chex Human already has red mail. That's a good thing to have fairly early.
Okay, Act the Boker's going back now. It's like, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's a mystery.
It's a secret to everybody, is what it is.
Yep. Alright, yeah. Now we see Hype Cave.
I thought he was just trolling all of us.
Oh, yeah, red rupee.
Silver arrows!
Ew! Hey, that's nice.
All right, silvers and enough heart pieces to make a full heart happen.
All right.
Ooh, Solski. Oh yeah, that was probably just to get the big key.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no curtains left in this game. Somebody decided that we didn't need any curtains. All right, Act the Poker looks like he's going to head on over to Palace of Darkness. Despite it being a pendant, it does tend to have quite a few interesting objects inside.
Yeah. And can you clear basically all of it at this point? I know
Oh, absolutely.
Act doesn't have the lamp, so we'll have to do dark rooms in the dark. Skip the tablet, actually. That's surprising. Skipping that.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see his menu to make sure on that. I'm like, maybe he didn't skip it and I just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe. We'll see. Hammer is pretty useful in this dungeon, so we might see a lot of it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is some interesting way of doing things there.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah. Oh, we had a fall on Moldorm from GFE here. Fortunately, it didn't happen to Solski. We'll be picking up the crystal. GFE won't be that far behind. And we have...
Ooh, and GFE takes another fall.
Oh, no.
We found two of the what would have been a swords. There was one in Chicken Hut and one there in the sunken treasure location.
Yep.
All right, so here's our moment of truth. I want to see if Solski or GFE goes into Turtle Rock.
That would be an exciting play.
Oh, there's a mirror in Palace of Darkness, so good on Act the Boker for heading that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make an Eastern check easy once leaving pod. Can just exit the door, use the mirror, go into Eastern, has bow, so can full clear it. Because I feel like if you have the confidence to go into House of Darkness without the lamp, I feel like you also have the confidence to enter Eastern with no lamp. Oh, we're seeing it.
Solski is opening up Turtle Rock. I imagine he'll probably check the two nearby caves first before going inside, but we never know.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yep, going out of there.
Looks like Chex Human is heading for Catfish.
Mm-hmm. Interesting play. A lot of people are in different locations right now. Like, Solski and GFE are in sort of similar places, but between them, Chex Human and Hack literally sitting in pod right now, while the other two are... Well, two of them are kind of on, Death Mountain, and one of them's checking Catfish. This is a really cool amount of divergence that this seed has let us have.
Absolutely. So there's a question in chat about the hearts in the game. So there is actually only one heart in the original game that actually refills your health. In the rest of the game, what refills your health is picking up the crystal or pendant afterwards. because usually you only find a heart on a boss somewhere.
Yeah, so if you see a heart that fully heals your health, you know it's the one that in vanilla came from the sanctuary at the end of Escape.
Yes, if you make a full heart from heart pieces, you also get a full refill. That is correct.
Yes.
All right, so Solsky is doing the Turtle Rock play. Hey, powder and pod. Now we're in business.
Powder.
I see what you did there.
Magic Bat. It took me like a minute to think of the location that Powder gives us.
Okay, yeah. Magic Bat is the location that gives us over by the Smith.
Mhm.
And speaking of, Chex is somewhere in that vicinity, over in Skull Woods.
I think this is actually a really good play. Skull. You get a crystal, you get your items.
Apparently, red mail happened.
Yeah. One of the mails was in the library, and the other one was in Super Bunny.
Ah, Super Bunny, right. The library is the one that Chex Human got that no one else did.
Yeah, because they were the only one with the boots when they went over there. I remember because there were like 3 blue things that were being spouted out about what was in the library.
All right, so Solsky, having taken care of the first little bit here of Turtle Rock, gonna go ahead and check some more. Yeah, it looks like we've already been through here. We might have had some issues in the Chomp Room, because the Chomp Room is full of chomps, and chomps are jerks.
Yep. In the words of many a famous, that's a lot of damage. Gotta be careful with the chomps.
All right, Act the Boker making use of that fire rod to get through the basement of Pod, because otherwise it's pretty nasty. And we're having ourselves a Helmosaur fight.
Yep. Act does have silvers, so I believe this will literally, once the mask is gone, take 1 arrow.
That is correct. And it certainly beats having to hit the jewel 4 times with the hammer.
That sounds unfun.
All right, Solsky checks out the big chest, or big key chest of Turtle Rock. Looks like it was, I think, just a key. Or a map or something equally useless.
Very nice hammer Mothula fight for Chex Human. Running away with the crystal. And Ack, as I predicted, jumping into Eastern immediately after Pod.
All right. Solsky headed to the back of Turtle Rock now. We expect some measure of keys and a few more items on the laser bridge. Solsky's going to be pulling real hard for that ice rod.
Yep, that's really the best thing that can happen right now is an ice rod. Because it'll allow us to clear the dungeon and probably get out of here. The only concern that getting out of here now is we could not check Mimic Cave because the mirror was in pod, which only Ack has gone to right now.
Flippers for Ack the Boker.
Eastern's a nice play.
Yeah, and that does put a few other things in logic. None of which could get you the flute.
Well, actually...
Ice rod on the laser bridge!
That's... Holy moly.
Oh my goodness. The Turtle Rock play is real, you guys. So, the reason I say that none of the places that the flippers unlock could have the flute is the flute also has to be in front of the Moon Pearl and the bow and the Titan's Mitts. So it actually can't be anywhere in the Dark World.
Yeah.
And also, the other places that are unlocked by the flippers have already been checked via fake flippers.
Yes. Well, Zora hasn't been checked, I think.
Right. But Zora wasn't unlocked by the flippers. Zora was unlocked by the hammer. I mean, not the hammer, the glove.
So are we saying that's where flute is?
Yes.
Great.
Like, unless my math is completely wrong or my logic is way off, I think Zora has to have the flute at this point.
Yep. No, there's a reason to go to Meyer. There's a crystal there. We just need to lose all our money.
Yep, there's definitely no swords yet. That's for sure.
I was hoping there would be one soon.
This is for those of you just joining us, this is a swordless seed, so we will not be seeing a sword.
Yep. Ooh. Oh yeah, could it be on land though?
No, I believe we saw both items in desert.
Oh yeah, we saw Samaria and I think some money.
Yeah, I think it's a blue rupee. Now, Ack the Poker's going to turn in the green pendant, get a bunch of bombs.
3 bombs are usually better than 0.
So yeah, once we get that flute, I'm pretty sure that, like, once we see the flute, that's all the items we need. I don't think any one runner will have it, but, well, with the potential of Ether on for Misery Mire.
Which Ack has Ether.
Oh, well then, color me crazy.
I didn't see it either, don't worry. It might have been in the dark room. Like, you know that one dark hallway that has the 2 chests? Might have been there. That's a good question. Where exactly in all of this does Ack go to Ice Rod Cave?
Good question. Now,
I saw that in chat, and
So far, it's not guaranteed that he will actually need to go there. The logic says you need the boots to beat Desert, but you can access the big key without them, so you can go finish it. But of course, we don't know if the boots are on, or if the Genstar big key is on the torch. That would cause quite a bit of trouble for Ak if that were the case.
And GFE being our second one to finish up the Turtle Rock play. That's definitely going to be something that might psych the other two out, with the Ice Rod being where it is.
Alright, so Ak has just now located a 300 rupee drop and may actually be able to buy Zora's item. But look what he's doing. He's going Ice Rod Cave.
Oh. Okay. There's a lot of things going on in chat, so I'm just gonna give a quick recap. Boots are in Ice Rod Cave, mushrooms on pedestal. Yeah.
And at this point, we know that the mushroom basically can't lead to anything important.
Yes. Because the only thing we really need is flute, which, well, I mean, could the shroom lead to the shovel?
I mean, the shroom could lead to the shovel, but that can't lead to the flute. If that's the case.
Yeah, you know, you think about it.
Because if it led to the flute, then we would have been able to get all 3 pendants in the light world.
Yeah, I didn't think that one through. That'd be really weird, though.
Alright, I think Ak is heading over to Catfish, followed by Zora, so this will be our moment of truth to see whether we've miscounted somehow. Oh, I stand corrected.
I zoned out for what you were talking about, and you immediately got corrected. What happened?
Oh, well, I thought he was going to Catfish and Zora. I was wrong.
Yeah. So Mario, okay. I'm gonna clear up a few items. Death Mountain, whoever went up there, sequence broke up there. We got the mitts, we got the bow, we got the moon pearl, we got the lamp. We got Bombos up there as well. We had... Ice Rod Cave had the boots. The mushroom is going to be on the pedestal, which cannot be blocking anything important, namely the flute, which is what we're still looking for.
And of course, in order to access Death Mountain by the logic, you need either the lamp or the flute. And because the lamp was on Death Mountain, we know the flute can't be locked by anything up there.
Yes. Solski about to pick up some silvers and heart pieces and red rupees. No, not both mitts were on Mountain.
Just one.
Mitts were on...
One was in Blind's hut, the other one was with the old man.
Thank you for reminding me.
Alright, so silvers for Solski. A fairy bottle for Ak. And now Ak is heading over to Catfish, Zora, etc., etc.
Yeah. The aquatic play. I'd be buying potions?
Yeah, I think he's going to buy something. He's buying 1 green potion, which is... That's basically what's in his budget at the moment, if you want to get to Zora with 500 rupees in hand.
Okay, right, we're going to Zora. I was like, what is this going to be used for? Well, we could see. Alright. Ice Palace, a good play to make right now. Check Human is making it. Really, there's not a lot of plays people could make, or not a lot. Not that there's not a lot of plays people could make, but at this point, there's basically only one other item that we need to get into, basically rushing to the end of the game, and we know where that is. So until everyone else comes to the decision to go to that item, for now we're basically just gonna see dungeon clears. So that's always just good progress.
So at this point, the major advantage that Ak has is having cleared Palace of Darkness.
Yes.
Because Palace of Darkness has the mirror in it. It's also got the powder, even though that's not that important. But the mirror is important. Gotta have that to get into Swamp.
Yeah, we know. So that was a good play. Will Ak, do you think, go to Swamp immediately? And there's our flute. Ak does need to go to Desert to get Samaria.
Correct.
Do you think Ak will think to check Mire as much as possible before going into Desert to maybe look for items there?
Possibly. I think Ak will probably check many things until he decides to eventually do Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
On account of not having the Ice Rod.
I mean, Turtle Rock is more clearable than Mount Mire at this point for him, despite not having the Ice Rod that's in the dungeon. Oh, actually, wait, he doesn't have Samaria. What am I saying?
Yeah.
He needs to go get Samaria. Where did I think that I didn't need Samaria for Turtle Rock? So really, this Samaria being an independent dungeon is probably just the worst thing happening to Ak right now. But once Ak decides to jump in Desert, go mode.
Alright, it looks like Solsky also picked up his wonderful flute from Zora. And we may see some simultaneous swag duck here in a minute.
Oh, that's exciting.
I may have something prepared.
Oh, good. So to answer a few questions before this happens, Samaria is the big chest in Desert, and yes, we're in no mode, basically.
I wish I had a sword so I could smash some face. Without a sword I feel so out of place. But the hammer can do all the things you want to, even if its hitbox is garbage day.
How do I clap while holding down a push-to-talk key?
I mean, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Anyway.
That's my backup. Meanwhile, Ice bows. Ice Palace is kind of a butt to clear sometimes. It's definitely, when I wanted to play this a lot, it was definitely one that threw me on my knees.
So we know what the pedestal is. It's is
mushroom.
The mushroom. It is unfortunately not required.
Yeah.
Because we know where everything that's important is.
What's the stun prize? Based on the recency of the red boomerang being checked for checks, I assume it is a fairly new boomerang. So I'm not sure what the stun prize is.
I mean, the hook shot was fairly easy, so that could have happened, but I haven't been paying attention, so I don't know.
What?
Okay, so... Alright, GFE is going to get some money for Zora right now.
Not a bad idea. We know it'll pay off.
Yeah, and I think GFE also knows it will pay off.
Yeah. I'm a fun guy.
All right, Actaboker will go deal with Mothula now. Chex is about to reach Cold Stare. Gonna get some magic first.
GFE going back into desert. So this is interesting because GFE is one of our people that's already been here. So it's definitely intriguing to see GFE wanting to complete it.
Yeah, I think they're here for the second item, if I had to guess, because they didn't steal the key from the back like Solsky did.
Yep. And yeah, as we mentioned, Chex did ice the long way around, but is now making it into Cold Stare. So we're almost done here.
All right, Cold Stare versus Chex Human. We had some fire rod shots to take down one of the puffballs, and now we have to switch to the hammer.
I love watching good hammer moth fights. They just look so good.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to do one of those one of these days.
So yeah, now I feel like quite a bit of what I mentioned earlier, that kind of dungeon cleanup thing is happening where most of us have the flute at this point. GFE is on their way to flute right now. Chex Human is the one without the flute, and I don't know what's going to compel Chex Human to go to Zora.
I mean, basically, he'd have to do the math on the items he's got upstairs. He got up on the mountain, figure it out.
Does have the ability to know to go to Zora.
Yeah, I think that may be what's happening here.
I think what's happening right here
after
is
after a Pyramid Fairy check.
Fat Fairy, yeah.
Like, I think he's gonna go that way into up towards Zora. That would be my guess.
That would be a good set of movements.
Yeah, he's also still looking for the mirror and things like that, which is why I imagine he hasn't made a beeline for Zora.
Yeah, needs to go to Pod. Still the only one that's gone to Pod. So it's the only one that can go into Swamp right now. GFE activating that flute. Looks like Axe hopping in here for items. Doesn't know where Samaria is. So, this isn't the worst idea in the world. We know this isn't going to play out the best possible way.
Yeah, if Ack gets in here later, we will have to ask him about skipping the ether tablet.
We'll have to ask about that, because why? But Axe thought process right now, I don't think is that feasible. Just, I need the mirror right now, or not I need the mirror, but I need the Cane of Samaria right now to basically, it's kind of funky go mode, because technically we know where the ice rod is and it's in Turtle Rock, but Axe not gonna think they're in go mode because they won't have the ice rod.
Yeah, so basically, when I don't have the ice rod, my general policy is I'll clear out the dungeons, like the pendant not the pendant dungeons, the crystal dungeons that I can, and then Turtle Rock is my next destination.
Yeah, and that also places you right next to Ganon Tower at the end of Turtle Rock, so that's not a bad play to make.
Now, GFE picked up a potion, and it was also green. I think GFE. Oh no, nope. Just heading to Ice Palace. That's good.
Yeah, we're seeing more people get into Ice Palace.
I was thinking maybe. Wait, why would you? No, you have the bow. What am I talking about? I was like, oh, getting ready for do a potion glitch. No, why would you do that?
So yeah.
All right, Solsky dealing with the Ice Palace bomb jump without issue.
Very nice. It'll be interesting to see. At this point, the best time saves people have on each other is how much of each dungeon they're going to plan on completing. With right now, I actually think that puts Hex Human in one of the best positions. Because if Hex Human takes a mirror and ether out of pod and then leaves, just needs to get Samaria for go mode, I believe.
Yeah, so he could go to
the Mire area, but then mirror to
area.
desert. If you go to the Mire and then mirror to desert, you could get the Cane of Samaria out of desert.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to do that or if he goes into Mire first. I think without the cane, you kind of feel like you want to check other locations.
Yeah. Once you're not looking for any items, Mire can be good if you find the big key quickly.
So the reason you have a Bombos hint thing there is in Swordless mode, they made it to where you can only use the medallions on those tiles. Because normally you can't use the medallions without a sword at all. And then, of course, I saw someone else talking about item dashing in Swordless mode. Item dashing, or at least hammer dashing, just doesn't work without a sword, period. Like, if you don't have a sword and you do have a hammer in the vanilla game, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as long as you don't do a screen transition, this screen keeps track of the number of pegs you have knocked down, and all it cares is if that number gets up to 22. Even if you mirror. Like, a mirror is not a screen transition.
This game was wacky.
This is a well-coded game.
Thank you, Nintendo.
Certainly nothing wrong with the code of this game. And Solsky about to finish off Cold Stare, just a couple more hits.
There we go.
Well done. And there's a cape for Ack the Boker.
Ooh.
In the Grove Ledge cave.
You want to go to Bumper Cave?
Maybe.
There's Powder Hex Human.
That actually just now puts Spike Cave in logic, too.
Oh. Spike Cave won't really have anything for us, though, will it?
Right. But Ack doesn't know that. At could be thinking that Spike Cave has the Cane of Samaria.
Well,
At could check Ether Tablet while he's there.
Spike Cave was already checked? Okay. Sure. Looks like we're gonna see...
We're going to see Bombo's tablet. Just no Ether
Bombos!
Tablet.
Okay. I mean, going over to that area is not bad. Oh, I thought Chexian was about to head to Swamp. Ether Tablet wasn't pod.
Yeah, Ether Medallion and Pod.
I said tablet, didn't I?
Yeah. I was like, that would be an interesting thing.
That would be great.
I didn't want to leave that. I didn't want to like call attention to it or anything, but
It's okay. Okay, so according to chat, Blue Potion and Spike Cave, there was a sequence break done by Chex Human.
cool. I think the blue goo is what he used to do the sequence break, though.
That it hurts.
All right, so a fairy for free from our pyramid fairy friend, just handing out like subordinates, I guess. And there's our single arrow in Swamp Palace. Alright, so Solski will be the first of our runners to have completed Turtle Rock and entered Palace of Darkness. So I believe Solski will come out of this dungeon in what we like to call Go Mode.
Yeah. Out of all the different things that we've seen between all four of these players, really interesting to see Solski come out as the first into Go Mode in these four.
All right. So Solski is just a few minutes away from that, or just a few seconds away from that mirror.
That's completely right. How do you have Go Mode without a sword? Ugh. We didn't think of that.
All right. There's another sword in the back of Swamp.
Oh, hey.
Because there's always a sword in
a
Swamp.
sharp object. You could probably stab someone with those.
Yeah, probably.
Would you want to, though? You have to think about how sharp they would be.
I mean, it depends. Like, if they deserved it. Alright, so Ether, I believe, is in pod. We don't actually know if Ether is required or not. I don't believe anyone's seen Meyer. No, we have. Yeah. Apparently. Apparently it is
Somebody
Ether.
checked out Meyer's shed, I remember. and it was Ether on Meyer. Meyer Shed obviously didn't have anything useful, because at that point we had already known what we were looking for, but yeah, GFE looked at Meyer Shed. Didn't go into Ether themselves because it does not have Ether, did not go into Pod. Solsky also saw Meyer. Okay, this is news to me. I know Solsky was one of the 2 earlier DP players, so didn't know how long Solsky was going to take to go back there.
So once Solsky gets a hold of that Ether Medallion, I expect an immediate mirror out.
Oh yeah, no. Solsky is leaving as soon as Ether's picked up. And Ether was just picked up.
There we go.
So that's... yeah, that's go mode, I believe.
Yep.
Let's think. What else do we need? Swamp, which we have 3 items for, and Meyer, which we have everything for. Yeah. Go mode for Solsky at 106.
All right, so this should be a pretty quick run to the finish.
Yeah. It'll be really good if the big key is in the first, I think it's 2 chests of... is it 2 in Meyer?
Yeah, 2
Before you
chests
really
in
have to
Meyer.
dig deep?
I would even say 3 is pretty good, because you just walk to the right and leave.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like before that part, where it really gets convoluted.
But yeah, the first 2, you really want to see it well, if you see it in the first one and you've got the quick trigger finger, you can just kind of hover across the gap, and it's great. But it's not something I expect everyone to be able to do, including myself.
Are you telling me you can't hover?
Well, there was a time. Like, I had it down for a while, and then I lost it.
Everyone. My dog hovered recently. No, hovering is insanely tricky.
So, to be fair, actually, Aghanim can be killed with the hammer in normal mode if you really want to.
If you really want to go get the hammer before Aga 1. Or use the hammer on Aga 2. A much worse idea.
And Act the Boker is, of course, going to be quite disappointed by the left side of Swamp. I don't know what it is, but it's garbage.
I don't think Chex Human is going to be very disappointed by Go Mode. Wait, no Go Mode, no Flute.
Alright, so Chex acquired that cane, I believe.
Yeah, Chex got Cane. Still needs Flute for a Goa mode. Again, Go mode is still a fishy definition because Ice Rod location. Go mode, but still paranoidly collecting items mode.
Alright, so Axe is going to go clear out Ice Palace. It's going to be a huge waste of time, but, I mean, you do what you gotta do. Now, to be fair, if I were these runners, I would want to have the bug net right now. just to make the Aga 2 fight easier. Doing double puff strats with the hammer. That is very nice for menu boss. Argus is what we like to call a turn-based battle in this game.
Yeah.
In Swordless mode. Ice Rod doesn't work on Argus. Never mind, it does.
No, Misery Mire is a crystal. Our pendants were on Palace of Darkness, Thieves Town, and Desert Palace.
I was saying it doesn't work because I remember trying it the other day and I saw him miss a few times, and I was like, then he started hitting, and I was like, okay, I am talking directly out of my rear end. I'm gonna shut up. All right. Solsky heading over to Misery Mire. This will be the last dungeon that he needs to complete.
And we're finally seeing an entry to Mire, so we'll see what's happening.
All right, first couple chests here in Misery Mire. We hope to find that big key as quickly as we can. Solsky actually heading to the right first, which does make sense. And it's a big key. What else could you ask for?
I don't know. Kate of Berna.
There you go.
Alright, so at this point, Check's human. Probably gonna want to get that flute ASAP. That'll put them in go mode. However, the problem is, are they gonna want to do that? Or are they gonna try and go back up Death Mountain using the cave that leads to the left side and go through Turtle Rock, hoping it'll be in there? Also needs Ice Rod, though, which is in Turtle Rock, as we know, but they don't know that. So it could totally be... It's kind of a mystery. Check's human is really far and has been doing really good on progress through the seed. However, is still in a position where kind of low on kind of rationale could be fading.
Yeah, just need to piece together the fact that based on the items you've seen so far, the flute can only be in one location. And it's not necessarily an easy thing to deduce. I mean, we're sitting back here, we're not playing the game, we're actually watching things happening, and so we have a little bit of time to sit and think about these sort of things. In the heat of the moment, it's often very difficult to reason that out.
And even though we don't have a bot, I see some numbers going down in chat. So we want to talk about that one?
Well, for those of you who are fans of the randomizer scene, we have a little game we like to play where we guess where that big key is going to be in Ganon's tower. We don't know exactly where it's going to be, but there are 22 locations where it can be. So people like to guess between 1 and 22. We don't tend to run the bot for these daily races on account of there are more people than just these two racing.
Yeah.
Four.
In tournaments, though, you'll see it, which I do think... Are there fall plans going underway right now, or...?
Yes, I believe the qualifiers for the fall tournament begin next week.
Alright. So keep your eye out for after those qualifiers once the full tournament starts.
And also, if you're interested in getting in on those qualifiers, make sure to sign up for them. You'll have to sign up for the individual qualifiers and make sure that you show up.
Yeah.
I believe there's some number of qualifiers you have to do in order to actually get in. But you should try out. I think everybody should, if you're interested at all.
I might have a better chance on commentary signups now that I know the term color commentator. Because last time I didn't, and I sold myself horribly short. But that's besides the point. We've seen a lot of different numbers, so anyone can be a winner.
How about one? You okay with one?
I bet, I'm gonna butcher this name. I bet, Sewalowick is okay with one.
All right, Ack the Poker heading into Desert. This will be the Cane of Samaria for Ack, and that will give him everything he needs to complete this situation. He'll pick up the Ice Rod along the way, of course. But Solsky way out in front at this point. There's no need for a lengthy Ganon's Tower trip. We're just going to go in and bust things up in the gauntlet.
Yep.
Yes, so the Solsky went to the left side to go ahead and grab that small key. That is the closest one along the way, and it's guaranteed to be there. Without that small key, you would risk not being able to finish the top of the tower. Yeah, so the two items that GFE are missing are in Palace of Darkness, the Ether Medallion and the Mirror, both of them right inside.
So, Ack recently went into Desert and Go mode. Ice Rod is a pain in the butt moded. Same with Chex. So they're on pretty similar planes right now. Meanwhile, GFE doesn't have to worry about that Ice Rod, but still does have to go to Pod. And it looks like they're not going to Pod. It's definitely a play that I can see some people not wanting to make in this type of seed, but it really just is huge in terms of progress on this one.
Now, Solsky is staring down the barrel of 2 hearts, but I'm pretty sure there's still a fairy sitting in his inventory.
There's 3 bottles, and I bet at least one of them has some sort of fairy.
Yeah. I think he picked up another one just from the Pyramid Fairy as well, right?
I think so. Is that Solsky who did that? I know someone did that. Okay, yeah, chat's saying fairy. I trust Solsky's.
Yeah, the Ice Rod is one of those items that just doesn't lend itself to what we call interesting gameplay decisions. Basically, if you're looking for the ice rod, you kind of just have to keep checking things. Or
Yeah.
risk it for the biscuit, which it looks like that's what Ack is doing here. If you're interested in my true feelings on the ice rod, I wrote a song about it, but we're not singing it today.
Does it have to do with the I'm not thinking of the right word. But the fact that this channel is family friendly.
No. It's a completely fine song. It's just I don't want to take away from the runners right now.
Oh yeah, that's fair. We do have 2 in a pretty interesting mode right now, and one of them pretty high up on Gammon's tower. And
He
one
is
very
taking
close
a
to
couple
go
of
mode.
Trolldorm falls, though. And Solsky faking us out with that chest as we head toward Aghanim 2. Now, this is going to be a challenging fight. Hammer Aga 2 is not fun.
I'm just so focused on this fight right now.
Ooh, almost got one in there. Gets a little trolled.
Oh.
I don't know if Solsky has an additional fairy. I think so.
I'm not sure.
Because I know there was one that just came in the bottle.
Yeah. Oh. Oh,
does.
we're good. We're good. We're good.
And there we go. Solsky finishing off Aga 2.
Yep.
Just a little bit left to go.
GFE working through, trying to get over to find Ether. I think GFE knows once they find Ether, they can leave.
I believe so.
Possibly might also be looking for the flute. Apparently they don't have that.
Oh my goodness, you're right. No, they have it. They checked Meyer.
Oh. Right, yeah. It was just not on the tracker. But now it's Ether as well, so hey, that's go mode, I think.
Very much so. So GFE now entering go mode officially.
Yeah.
As the second person. Once Ack finishes Meyer, which he actually beat Meyer, but now he's going back in looking for the second item.
Yeah, looking for the second item. Hoping it's the ice rod, obviously. Really the only item he could probably be hoping for right now. Unless just really
Yeah, I'm thinking
wants the lamp.
it's actually Solsky taking a death. Ugh.
Yuck.
Now, Solsky, I believe, also has a blue potion sitting around. Maybe. Just hasn't used it. Maybe he had. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe he wants to save it for a later phase. I mean, I don't know. With silvers, how bad could the last phase be in terms of having enough magic. Especially when you have half magic, like Solsky does. And it looks like Chex Human unfortunately took a similar play to what Ack did in terms of deciding to hop into Mire after finishing it to find the item.
And there we go. Ack finds the second item, just a big 20 in the cutscene chest. Beautiful. And he's going to go ahead and check Checkerboard Cave, it looks like. Solsky is almost finished with phase 2. That looks like it might have been enough hits by now.
Yeah, getting...
Gets in a hit, but there are rings of fire bats spawning, so you're going to want to avoid those.
Mm-hmm. Floor's starting to crumble.
And there we go. That'll get us to phase 4. Now we just need silvers to happen.
Yep. Nice baiting job. And nice double. And that
done.
Is it for Solsky. I just realized I don't have the SOL room up.
Well, there we go. Solsky. I do have the time, and I will announce it as soon as he goes across the bridge. We have an official 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 15 seconds for Solsky. That is an improvement over his Swordless personal best by 24 minutes and 11 seconds.
That's crazy. This was definitely an interesting seed. Gave you a lot of items in kind of unorthodox location. Had a huge sequence break that basically everyone took. But did give you quite a few good items fairly early on. So it was definitely one of those seeds where you really needed to play your cards right in order to have the best mindset going through, and he definitely played with a good order.
And yes, Solsky did in fact finish in first place in this race. So congratulations to Solsky.
So yeah, with nothing else to do, it looked like Ack and Chex are heading up to Death Mountain.
Alright, so Chex is heading for Turtle Rock. Ack, I think Ack is about to check the ether tablet.
Oh my goodness.
Alright, looks like Solsky has joined us in chat.
Hello.
Not in the voice chat, but in the text chat. I see him there.
Oh, I do too.
Congratulations on that. I mean, it wasn't, the world record things, as Solsky said, but it was so close, and it was very good. I I mean, sub 130 on a swordless seed. It's just ridiculous.
Absolutely.
%60 of the time, it works 100% of the time. Ah, there we are. Sounds like we are now joined by Solsky. Congratulations on that race. Well played.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yo. Who was cracking that drink? Was that you?
That's me.
Okay.
Definitely
Like you feel like you
deserving, I
need
can tell
one?
you that.
As Daft Punk says, Stone Cold Solsky.
Nice. Nicely done. That was quite the display there. So we thought Ack had this thing for a while on account of going into pod so early, but he just got debated all over the place by that mirror and various other things. And of course, he didn't have. He wasn't able to get into Turtle Rock while he was up there the first time.
Yeah, it was stupid crazy how well that route worked for me, honestly. Like, just running into Red Cane where I did, out of the way, leading to the early TR. Like, when I got Ice Rod, I knew I was probably in the lead. And then I didn't have a lot of bad options ahead of me in the route. Hype Cave was first on my mind. That was the freest silvers I've seen in Swordless too, which was just great. And then we just had Crystal Dungeon after Crystal Dungeon. I actually wanted to go mode Ice to save time too, because the seed was playing so fast, but then it gave me that debate key, I call it, where it basically says do right side Ice, don't skip it, because it's so free.
Yeah.
And then that led to my decision to go to pod, because I was riding in what was it, Fat Fairy Pyramid into pod, and I figured that was for not having mirror, chest per minute on par with like Village of Outcasts and Thieves, so it was kind of a play at that point. And then I found mirror and I was like, do I bail? And I was like, nah, we still got 4 items, and sure enough, Ether pops like right away after. So
Yeah. Pod was definitely an amazing decision to make to go there. And yeah, as you said, with the Crystal Dungeon after Crystal Dungeon, a lot of this seed kind of felt like that. Because, like, watching a bit of the divergence from the other 3 that were being featured on stream today, we got to a point where a lot of people were missing. We were in no mode rather quickly.
yeah.
But, like, everyone was missing 1 item. So, like, there were 2 people that didn't go to Desert until pretty late. Meanwhile, like, you didn't go to, like, some of the other Crystal Dungeons that, like, Chex, Human, and Ack the Voker went to early, for example. But you went to Ice and Desert early. So it was really interesting to see how a lot of it came down to we're just clearing Crystal Dungeons because we don't know where to go to get that last, like, 1 item to put us in go mode. And everyone chose different dungeons, and it was really interesting to just see the seed play out.
Yeah, so how about that flute situation? Like the way that Death Mountain sequence break panned out, we had so many people, or we actually figured out that the flute could only be on Zora way early. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I knew that too, just based on clearing Eastern. That's why I did Eastern right after TR, because I knew Flute was in a limited amount of spots. Like, having the lamp there essentially made Flute a free square. And with Eastern being a crystal as well, just made it even freer for me, really. Went to that, and it wasn't there, and I think I got flips instead?
Yeah, flippers were there.
Which was like, oh my god, so it was like double free. Like, it's like flippers lead to flute. And now I don't have to worry about looking for the flippers. Now it's just like essentially what I at that time I thought I was only looking for mirrors. So that's why when I got the flute, I'm like, well, Skullwoods, cash in flute, Skullwoods into finding out Mire, or did I find out Mire first? I think I did Mire first and then install. But yeah, that was Dan's game finding out his ether, but then it just turned out to be free anyways, so that was good. Moldorm 2, Aga 2, and Ganon are definitely on my list, though. That was pretty poor on my part. I was
well, I mean,
happy.
None of those are any good in swordless mode. None of them.
Well, if you have the bugnet, Aga is really free.
Right. That is one thing I would have liked to have seen this run is the bugnet, but this game was not having it.
What if the bugnet was behind the mushroom?
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't even know where that was. But
The mushroom was on his head.
Yeah, you're not getting that. So that's great. Can you imagine? But yeah, I didn't really realize that was gonna be bad until I got in Ganon or Aga's room, and I was like, oh wait, that's right, geometry. And I knew it was gonna be rough, and sure enough, I got the wrong timing on the main, like the actual Ganon. And the last thing you want him in Swordless is him to fire first, because then you're at the whim of blue balls, and sure enough, there's like 3 or 4 phases I just couldn't do anything about it.
Alright, so GFE is heading to the east side of Ganon's Tower. Just going to be number 2 today for GFE. Yeah, that GT was kind, though.
Oh my god, yeah. That was the other thing that was on my mind. I was like, what was world record again for Swordless? And then that's why I typed it like right after, because I was like, I didn't want to type it before because spoilers, and I didn't want to really overhype myself either. But yeah, that was kind of on my mind. And then Aga 2 was just Assault Mine. Ganon was no better, but that's okay. It's Swordless, it is a lot harder.
Yep, and of course, Swordless is going to be one of the options people can choose for the upcoming tournament, so that might be something people want to prepare. Act the Boker is pulling some sort of shenanigans here. Oh my goodness. Because why not?
Oh, he's gonna...
Why not just hover the entire Trinex gap?
Yeah,
This is why we waited until last to do Turtle Rock. We didn't have
Oh, so close.
Yeah, pro tip, Ak is good at hovering. Actually, a lot of runners now are pretty good at hovering. Like, it's not just a meme anymore, it's like an actual acquired skill.
Alright, so Ak's going to finish off Trinex, and Chex, Human, and GFE are both making their way up GT. GFE a few rooms ahead. So, anything else you'd like to say about this team before we continue following this amazing race over here?
Sorry, was that directed at me?
That was the plan, but
I missed the question, sorry.
I was just asking if there's anything else you'd like to say about the seed or anything else you'd like to shout out.
No, it was great for me, so... I mean, I don't really have any complaints. I shouldn't have any complaints, so...
That sounds about right to me.
And to the person asking, although the big key was on the right side, you do want a small key for the climb up Ganon's Tower. So, although the big key was on the right, you also saw Soul Sea do this. After getting that, Chex Human dipped over to the left side to grab a small key.
Yeah, without the small key, you're gonna risk getting stranded at the top of the tower without a key. I don't
Not
know what was in those chests at the top, but there could be a key, but you don't want to bet on that.
Yeah, that's not... Out of all the gambles, that's not the one to make.
And the other thing is there can only be exactly one key up there. Cannot be two or more. So Ack is going to do something similar here.
Yep. And it looks like we actually have a pretty interesting Chex Human taking a very slight lead over GFE.
Yeah, as we stated, GFE had a few rooms up on Chex, but Chex has a little bit of an execution break.
Yeah, Chex is doing really good in this Ganon Tower.
Oh, there was a small key in the chest upstairs.
Well, still not something you want to bet on.
Yeah, it's a pretty low percentage gamble.
Yeah. Good Moldorm too.
And it's just the burrito in the final chest today.
Get a nice snack before going up to the final boss. Alright, we'll see how this goes.
Oh, there's one hit for Chex. Ooh, getting bodied there. The hammer, of course, not known for its precision instrument hitting time. It's going to be 3.
Already halfway through.
And
So maybe
as that happens, GFE begins the fight. Sorry. When all you have is the hammer, everything looks like a blue ball. I love it.
This is really stressful to even watch.
Oh, Check's on half a heart. I think there's probably a fairy somewhere in Check's inventory, but we'll see.
Hopefully, because Chex just took a death. There's a fairy right there.
Not to jump in again, guys, but shoutouts to that fairy actually saving my Aga climb.
Yeah, getting the free fairy from the pyramid fairy there. Yeah,
Yeah. Can you imagine needing 2 fairies in Ganon's Tower?
I mean, in swordless mode, yes, I can.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, wait, I have another fairy? Cool.
Yeah. And the Check's gonna be moving on to Ganon here.
Meanwhile, Act the Boker is leaving Trolldorm 2 behind. So who needs that
Very
mess?
What a god.
This is a really good race between these other 3. GFE just taking down Aga. And just entering it.
And Chex is on the first phase of Ganon. Got himself in a nice little ring of fire here. He's going to use that cape that he found. For those of you keeping score at home, the cape was in the Grove Ledge cave. So at that point, yeah, there was no way that either Solsky or GFE were going to go get that.
Mm-hmm.
GFE now into the Ganon fight. Ooh, checks human taking a beefing. Does he have another fairy? He does not.
That is bad news.
GFE takes a beefing as well, but has a fairy.
Ack has a Ganon fight.
All right, so this is coming down to the wire for all three of these runners. My goodness. Yeah, so on the Ganon fight, the hammer deals tempered sword damage to mostly anything, and in swordless mode that includes Ganon. So you're gonna need 12 hits per phase to knock Ganon into the next phase of the fight. Ack and Chex in a very advantageous position for landing those hammer hits. And Chex is in phase 3. Ack is in phase 3. Ack getting into phase 4 just slightly before Chex human. This is going to be extremely close.
Yep.
And there it is, Ack the Boker taking down Ganon.
The last to take down Aga of these four.
Wow.
Yo,
what a
comeback.
race.
What a comeback for Ack.
Absolutely.
Ack the comeback. And GFE is not far behind.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good race here at the end. So Ack the Boker, official time, 1 hour, 47 minutes, 47 seconds. Chex human, official time, 1 hour, 48 minutes, 9 seconds.
22-second difference. And then let's see what it's going to be with GFE sitting here waiting for the bridge to happen. There we go.
Official time for GFE of 1 hour, 48 minutes, 31 seconds. Less than a minute, separating all three of our runners in second, third, and fourth place. Somebody called the top 4 finishers for this one. Congratulations to the person who organized this list of runners.
Was that the top 4 in the whole race room?
Yes. Yes, it was.
That is impressive.
And we'll see how many of our runners will want to join us in here today. We've got Chex Human in the setup room. All right, so there's Chex and GFE joining us. We'll see if Ack will join us shortly. This was such a close race coming into it. My goodness.
GG.
Yeah, GG's to you guys. That was incredible to watch. There was a lot of... It was a really good race. A lot of interesting things going on.
What was that?
A lot of interesting things going on.
Ask early on, were myself and Solsky on the same route? Because if I'd gone to pods, have been close to that.
Yeah. You and Solsky were right along the same route. You both did Turtle Rock early.
We went to desert early as well.
And just Solsky went to Pod before you did. Sounds like we have now been joined by the second place finisher of this race, Act the Boker. Don't call it a comeback.
No,
It was.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you're the last one to enter that Ganon fight.
Really?
Yeah, last one to finish Aga 2, first one to finish Ganon.
Oh, did they die?
One runner did have a death, and the other had a death into a fairy, but it was very close.
Yeah. So, I believe there's a question that I'm gonna let Bob ask.
So I need to ask you how you feel about the ether tablet.
I completely forgot about it, and like that, it's when I started walking off, and I didn't check Hype Cave because I was like, dude, I didn't do the ether tablet, and I was like, that was really stupid. And then I was like, wait, I need to stop thinking about that and remember what I'm doing now. And then I also decided not to do Ice Rod Cave. That was pretty slick too.
Yeah, you were definitely the last of the runners to pick up the boots as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it was like, I'm just not going to check 2 locations. They probably won't have anything, right?
Of course not.
Right? Yeah, that was still a really well played seed, despite that wandering off bit. Was that what happened? That was funny to me, but that was still a really well played seed. From everyone involved, not just you.
I wanted to go get my ice rod from the mushroom, truth be told. But, I mean, I was gonna do Turtle Rock, but I was like, just let it be the mushroom so it can be an equalizer for everybody. But I guess it was just one of those dumb seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately for some of us, the Turtle Rock play was actually available very early.
Right. That made sense, because, yeah, you do your boots in Ice Rod Cave, and then it's like, well, I got this book, let me go check out Desert. I don't think, like, any Pendant Dungeon really had anything good, except for Turtle Rock having the Ice Rod.
Desert had Samaria.
Right.
And, of course, Pod had Mirror and Ether.
Ether.
Yeah, it's a lovely seed. Just make sure you just make the worst decisions possible, and you'll probably do really good.
Yeah.
That is how Rando tends to go sometimes.
It's okay, guys. Ack always gets like this when he loses.
I didn't know Incompletable Turtle Rock and diving to Pendant Dungeons was the play.
I mean, if
you were easily the first person to go into Pod, to be honest. Like,
well, that made sense. But I wanted to get my green pendant and turn it in.
Bad decisions until after Eastern. I thought about going to Pod, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go find my flute on Zora or Desert.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you still had the one item left in Desert that you thought it could be. Because Solsky actually stole a key from the back to check the right side of Desert and found the other item before leaving.
Thought about doing that, but it wasn't worth it after finding Kane. I figured that gave me a good enough advantage.
But yeah, we were actually able to narrow down the location of the flute after about like 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was the thing too. I thought the lamp was
drop rupees.
Oh yeah, you had to go for the rupee farm there at the end. We saw that.
I thought the lamp was in Desert for the longest time. Didn't cross my mind that it could have been on Ether, and then I got the flute from Zora, and I was like, oh, well, maybe that lamp is up there.
Yep.
At that point, I thought it might be sensible for it to be in Turtle Rock. I couldn't remember the sequence of things.
So, to be honest, when you skipped the Ether tablet there, Ak, I thought there was like some cosmic force telling you that the lamp was there and you had to skip it to go with your emote. Pack the no
I
lamp.
almost did. It was close. I definitely didn't get any use out of it.
So I haven't heard anything from Chex. Have you been saying things and we just haven't heard you?
Oh no, I've been listening.
Okay. Just making sure that you're alive and if you had anything to say about this seed.
I appreciate it. I also narrowed down the flute to Zora. I mean, finding Samaria in desert was pretty surprising, since I thought it had to be there, or at Zora. So that's, yeah, I don't know. That's the way it went.
Yep, seems pretty good. GFE, we have a lot of people asking what GFE stands for. I don't know.
Stands for nothing at all. It just
Cool.
happened to be a name I did as a kid when I first beat Link to the Past. But I've determined since Rando that it means go find everything, because I usually hundo.
Seems good. Seems good. Yeah, we had a lot of different theories in chat about what GFE stood for. If you ever go back and watch the VOD and find the chat replay.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. We'll see.
Perhaps not. Yeah, very large variance on the collection rates here. Now, I do want to ask, how do you guys feel about Ganon's Tower?
That was at least a little reasonable, I think, at that point. It's kind of the worst feeling after you do everything, and then you gotta, go all the way to Isarmos or Tower Room for your big key. At that point, you're just ready for it to be over.
I spent most of the tower segment in the Aghanim 2 fight.
Yeah,
I guess
the
that
Aga-
button was in GT.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, the Aga 2 with Hammer is not fun, and I don't envy anybody who has to do that. All right. So, is there anything else anybody would like to say before we wrap things up here today?
Thanks for commentating.
Yeah, same
Fun to
thing.
be
Thanks for
restreamed
commentating
and
in the trackers
thanks.
as well.
Looking forward to more Swordless.
All right. So a lot of people looking forward to the upcoming tournament. Swordless is an option in that, so you might be able to see some of that. All right, so I want to thank our runners. Thanks to Solsky and Act the Boker and Chex Human and GFE12 for putting on this show today. I want to thank our trackers, Darek Sharna and Sindoris, for putting on the icons on the screen, make sure everybody knows what's going on. And of course, my co-commentator, Lori D. Bunnykins. Thank you so much for riding along with me today.
It was a great time. I was worried it was going to go on 3 years, but fortunately did not. So,
well, there we go. All right. So with that, I think we'll wrap things up here. I'll just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic. And
oh, that's where you want me to say things, isn't it?
I mean, you can do what you want.
I'm gonna go to sleep, and that sounds like fun.
Sounds good. Lori, excellent job, and thanks for helping me out.
No problem, Liz.
With that, it's nice to see you all, and we will see you all later. Bye, everybody.